Welcome to this list of the top pitchers from the Deadball Era, a period defined by superb pitching and aggressive base running. There are various views on when the Deadball Era began and ended, but most agree that it spanned from 1900 to 1920. In particular, two events largely bookended the period. First, we have the establishment of the American League in 1901 and its ensuing rivalry with the National League, which created a more stable and recognizable two-league system. Second, baseball banned the spitball after the 1920 season, with only a select few allowed to continue using the pitch. It is also difficult to classify many players as belonging to a single era. Most of the players on this list also pitched during the vintage era of the 19th century or the live ball era of the 1920s. For example, Sai Young debuted in 1890 and pitched until 1911. He had dominant seasons in both decades. The same is true for Walter Johnson, who debuted in 1907 but pitched till the 1927 season. In this video, we'll focus on players who played the majority of their careers from 1900 to 1920. Some may have begun their careers in the 1890s, while others pitched into the late or mid-1920s. Before we go to the top 10, let's talk about two honorable mentions. Every pitcher listed on this video is in the Baseball Hall of Fame, which shows the caliber of these players. Thus, an argument could certainly be made that these guys belong in the top 10. Honorable mentions. Joe McInity, nicknamed the Iron Man, earned his reputation through extraordinary durability and a relentless work ethic. Over a 10-year major league career from 1899 to 1908, McInity posted a 246 to 142 record, a 2.66 career ERA, and 1,068 strikeouts. He led the National League in wins 5 times, had 230-win seasons, and led the league in innings pitched 4 times. Known for pitching both games of doubleheaders, a feat he accomplished 3 times in a single month, McInity earned the nickname Iron Man for his almost superhuman endurance. McInity was a key member of John McGraw's New York Giants, helping the club win the 1905 World Series and forming a formidable duo with Christy Mathewson. Chief Bender. Charles Albert Bender was a right-handed pitcher who was a central figure in the first Philadelphia Athletics dynasty under manager Connie Mack. A member of the Ojibwe Native American tribe, Bender played 16 seasons from 1903 to 1917 and a comeback in 1925, most notably with the Athletics. He finished his career with a record of 212 to 127, a 2.46 ERA, and 1,711 strikeouts. Renowned for his sharp control, Bender led the American League in winning percentage 3 times. He also pitched a no-hitter in 1910. Bender went 6-4 with a 2.44 ERA across 10 World Series starts, helping the Athletics win 3 championships in 1910, 1911, and 1913. Despite facing racial prejudice due to his Native American heritage, Bender maintained a dignified presence and was widely respected by peers and fans alike. Finally, let's take a look at the top 10. Number 10. Vic Willis. Vic Willis was a powerful right-handed pitcher whose durability and effectiveness made him a standout during the Deadball Era. Over a 13-year career, from 1898 to 1910, with the Boston Beaneaters, Pittsburgh Pirates, and St. Louis Cardinals, Willis compiled a record of 249 to 205, a 2.63 career ERA, and 1,651 strikeouts and 50 shutouts in almost 4,000 innings pitched. He pitched 388 complete games in 471 starts. Willis's most successful seasons came when he joined the Pittsburgh Pirates, where he helped anchor a strong pitching staff that led to a World Series championship in 1909. He didn't play for contenders for many years and was often overshadowed by flashier contemporaries such as Christy Mathewson and Rube Wadell. In 1995, he earned a long overdue induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame by the Veterans Committee. Number 9. Addie Joss. Addie Joss is one of baseball's greatest what-ifs. He had one of the most brilliant but short careers in the sport. Pitching exclusively for the Cleveland Naps from 1902 to 1910, Joss compiled a 160-97 record with a career ERA of 1.89, the second lowest in MLB history. He threw 45 shutouts, recorded 920 strikeouts, and led the league twice in both ERA and WHIP. Joss holds the all-time lowest WHIP with 0.968. He was known for his pinpoint control and devastating fadeaway pitch. In 1908, he pitched a complete perfect game in just 74 pitches, which is probably the most efficient pitching performance of all time. Joss's life and career were tragically cut short when he died of meningitis in 1911 at the age of just 31, shortly before what would have been his 10th season. Baseball waived its 10-year minimum career rule to enshrine Joss in the Hall of Fame. Number 8. Mordecai Brown. Mordecai Peter Centennial Brown, famously known as Three-Finger Brown, was a legendary pitcher whose physical adversity became his greatest weapon. A childhood farming accident left Brown with a mangled right hand, but the injury allowed him to grip and spin the baseball in unusual ways, resulting in a devastating curveball and sinker that baffled hitters. Over a 14-year career from 1903 to 1916, primarily with the Chicago Cubs, Brown compiled a 239-130 record, a career ERA of 2.06, along with 1,375 strikeouts. He had 6 consecutive 20-win seasons. Brown was a cornerstone of the Cubs dynasty of the early 20th century, helping them win 4 NL pennants and 2 World Series titles in 1907 and 1908. In World Series play, he went 5 for 4 with a 2.97 ERA. His fierce rivalry with Christy Mathewson stood out in the golden age of pitching, and Brown often came out on top, winning 13 with 1 tie in their 25 head-to-head matchups. Number 7. Eddie Plank. Eddie Plank, nicknamed Gettysburg Eddie, was one of the most consistent and successful left-handed pitchers in baseball history. He pitched from 1901 to 1917, mostly with Connie Mack's Philadelphia Athletics. He compiled a 326-194 record, a career ERA of 2.35, and 2,246 strikeouts. He was the first left-handed pitcher to win 300 games and still ranks among the all-time leaders in victories by a southpaw. Known for his smooth mechanics and excellent control, Plank was rarely overpowering, but always effective, posting 8 20-win seasons and helping lead the Athletics to 2 World Series championships. In postseason play, Plank was a key contributor to the Athletics dynasty of the 1910s, pitching in 5 World Series and recording a stellar 1.32 ERA in 54 2/3 innings. His quiet demeanor and studious approach made him a respected figure both on and off the field. After short stints with the St. Louis Terriers of the Federal League and then St. Louis Browns, Plank retired with the most shutouts by a left-hander until Warren Spahn surpassed him decades later. Number 6. Ed Walsh. Ed Walsh, also known as Big Ed, was a fearsome right-handed pitcher who holds the lowest career ERA in Major League history with 1.82. Pitching primarily for the Chicago White Sox from 1904 to 1917, Walsh posted a career record of 195 wins and 126 losses with 1,736 strikeouts in 2,964 innings. His prime was short but brilliant. Between 1906 and 1912, he was nearly untouchable. In 1908, Walsh had one of the greatest seasons ever by a pitcher, 40 wins, 1.42 ERA, and 464 innings pitched, all while leading the league in games, complete games, shutouts, saves, and strikeouts. He is also the all-time leader in fielding independent pitching, or FIP, a modern sabermetric that focuses on areas that the pitcher can control in a game. His 2.0 FIP is the best all time. Walsh was also a master of the spitball, a legal pitch in his era that he used to devastating effect. Walsh helped lead the White Sox to their first World Series title in 1906, pitching 2 complete game victories and a save in the 6-game upset of the powerhouse Cubs. Unfortunately for Walsh, the team's overuse of his arm led to a relatively short career. At 32, his career suffered a quick and dramatic decline. Still, Walsh's peak years are among the greatest in baseball history. Number 5. Rube Wadell. Rube Wadell was one of baseball's most brilliant and eccentric talents, a left-handed pitcher whose blazing fastball and wicked curveball made him nearly unhittable at his peak. Pitching primarily for the Philadelphia Athletics from 1902 to 1907, Wadell compiled a career record of 193 to 143, a 2.16 ERA, and 2,316 strikeouts over 13 seasons. He led the American League in strikeouts for 6 consecutive seasons and was the first pitcher since 1900 to strike out more than 300 batters in a season, with 302 in 1903. He led the league in strikeouts per 9 innings 8 times, including 7 consecutively. Off the field, Wadell was famously unpredictable. He chased fire trucks, missed games to wrestle alligators, and sometimes disappeared mid-season, but his raw talent was undeniable. His battles with alcoholism and erratic behavior ultimately shortened his career, but his brilliance on the mound left a lasting impression. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1946. Number 4. Grover Cleveland Alexander. Grover Cleveland Alexander, often known simply as Old Pete, had a 20-year career spanning from 1911 to 1930, mostly with the Philadelphia Phillies, Chicago Cubs, and St. Louis Cardinals. He posted a 373 to 208 record, tying Christy Mathewson for the National League record and the third most wins in MLB history. He led the National League in ERA 4 times, wins 6 times, and shutouts 7 times, finishing his career with a 2.56 ERA, 2,198 strikeouts, and 90 shutouts. He won 30 games each year from 1915 to 1917. Perhaps his most iconic moment came in Game 7 of the 1926 World Series, when, pitching for the Cardinals at age 39, he famously struck out Tony Lazzari with the bases loaded, just one day after throwing a complete game in Game 6. Despite personal struggles, including alcoholism and trauma from serving in World War I, Alexander continued to pitch at a high level well into his 40s. Number 3. Sai Young. Sai Young is arguably the most iconic pitcher in baseball history. Young has more wins than any other pitcher and is the namesake of the sport's most prestigious pitching award. Over a 22-year career, Young compiled a 511 to 315 win-loss record. He also holds records for games started with 815, innings pitched with 7,356, and complete games with 749. However, he also holds the record for most losses with 315. He won 30 or more games in 5 different seasons and helped lead Boston to the first World Series title in 1903. He led the league in WAR 6 times, thrice in the 1890s and also thrice in the Deadball Era. His influence on the game was so profound that in 1956, MLB awarded the best pitcher the Sai Young Award. Number 2. Christy Mathewson. Known as Big Six, Mathewson compiled a 373 to 188 win-loss record with a career ERA of 2.13 and 2,507 strikeouts. His 373 wins remain the record for the National League. Mathewson was a master of control and strategy, famously relying on his deceptive fadeaway pitch, similar to a modern screwball. He led the National League in ERA 5 times, in wins 4 times, and in shutouts 4 times. He had 13 seasons with 20 or more wins, including 4 with at least 30. But Mathewson cemented his legend in arguably the greatest World Series performance by a pitcher. In the 1905 series, he pitched 3 complete game shutouts. Mathewson and Walter Johnson were the first 2 pitchers elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Before we go to the number 1 pitcher of the Deadball Era, here are the career WAR values of the pitchers on this list. Remember that it was a period where pitchers were expected to hit. Some of these pitchers were poor hitters, which slightly lowered their career WAR. Johnson and Young have a huge lead over the others and trail only Babe Ruth in the all-time career WAR. Number 1, Walter Johnson. Johnson is the greatest pitcher of the Deadball Era and arguably of all time. Known as the Big Train, Johnson's career spanned 21 seasons, from 1907 to 1927, all with the Washington Senators. In an 8-year period from 1912 to 1919, he led the league in WAR 7 times. Johnson racked up 417 career wins, the second most in MLB history, and held the record for career strikeouts with 3,509 for over half a century. He led the league in strikeouts 12 times, including in 8 consecutive seasons. His 110 career shutouts remain an unbroken record to this day. He holds the highest single-season WAR for any player, regardless of position, since 1900 with 16.6. The runner-up, also Walter Johnson in 1912 with 15.4. His best season was 1913 when he led the league in WAR, had a 36-7 win-loss record, 1.14 ERA, and 243 strikeouts, and was named the league's MVP. He also won the first of 3 pitching Triple Crowns. He won his second MVP award in 1924. He capped it by cementing his legacy as a postseason legend. In Game 7 of the 1924 series, he came in relief in the 9th and pitched the last 4 innings to secure the championship for the Senators. Thank you for watching. Do you agree with this list? Which pitcher would you rank higher, lower, or completely remove from the list? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. It helps a lot. Likewise, you can also support this channel by joining the YouTube community and Patreon. Links in the comments below. Thank you.